What is going on, everybody? Once again, Mr. Soul of a Man 504, aka the Mon Alvarez, coming at you live once again with another video. So, again, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. So, today we're going to be talking about the Black Indigo children, or the Black Indigo child, or the Starseed child. And within that, it's interesting. Yesterday during one of my meditation sessions, somebody told me, they were like, "Hey, you know what? You know that you're very powerful, you're amazing," and they used the word star seed and indigo child, and they were like, all your life you will be able to get, you were able to get out of these situations and XYZ. And she said, well, has anybody ever told you that before? I said, no, and it really got me thinking. So I started doing some research and myself, going through this very deep spiritual journey, as we can, do things. We have these unique abilities, to see, I guess beyond the, and realms beyond the void, so to speak. And it's just interesting, how these things, and especially with the children, I really do feel like the crop of generation. I mean, when I say the kids, like the babies, the toddlers and the kids, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, the children, you know what I mean? Even in the early teenage years, how, the imagination is immense and it's extraordinary, like people always told me, like, hey, something about you. Or there's, people would just say, you're just different. And I could never, and I was like, yeah, I guess, I just, what's going on, and I'd be like, hey, hey, I didn't, I couldn't quite put my finger on, why people would be like, you're very different, you're unique. There's just something about you. I was always, somebody who it's all good, man, it's all good in the spiritual hood. That little phrase that I coined. So and we're talking about the Black Indigo children, or starseed children. And I think now it's I was watching a video with Dick Gregory. Dick Gregory was like, people are hungry for information that you can't readily get, even though I'm a writer, I'm a writer myself. There are just things that you just don't, that you just can't naturally find in a book or on the internet. It'll just show you, it'll only show you, teach you so much, but these children are very special. They're very unique. They have high IQs. Their sense of perception. If anybody has ever told you, if you look at your child or someone's child and you said that kid's been here before, that's a good point of reference for that child possibly being like having that star seed energy. Having that. I would say. Almost, out of this world, like, DNA that's encoded, in their, in their body, or, or within their melanin. It's like they have ties, as I would call them, to the ancient ones, so they are, like when they're in deep REM sleep, they're just able to just go places because, the kids are naturally pure at heart. In the very beginning, they're not, before the world comes in and starts to shape them and take away certain things, and takes away the childlike imagination. The kids, the kids know, that's why kids are so they're so bold and blatantly honest, because they're like blank slates, but they can just naturally see things for what they are. And they, and they just naturally speak their minds, and you may be one yourself. You may have these extrasensory abilities, this perception. Some of them have just the ability to heal naturally with their energy. Like, when a child, hugs you or is around you, or they're just playing and they're just being themselves. So you see the baby in the crib sleeping at night. It gives you it gives you a sense of peace, a sense of joy. And and I look at it to go deeper. It gives me a sense of hope. So there's very much so they have, they have very strong soul ties. So the balance of who they are is, I keep saying, out of this world, but they're really attached to something that we they have the God's eye. Man, that I wish I would have grabbed that, but it's cool. It's like that Egyptian symbol. It's like that Egyptian symbol of the eye. The all-seeing eye. They are from a cosmic seed. And they're out there, or are they? They're out there. They're powerful. The imagination is beyond anything. That's why you see like these kids graduating in high school at the age of 8 and 9 years old. You'll see them with like math. They'll have a doctorate by the time they're 15, and so these kids, that's before the world intercedes and tells them, what you can't do, what you can't have, before the world tells them, who they're not. They know they're bold. They just step out there, like somebody, I did an interview, somebody asked me, well, who gave you permission, who gave you permission to write your books? It's like, well, nobody gave me permission. I just use my, I just use my creative imagination. If it's something that's that's passed along to me, an idea, not that I've bid on every idea, but that's what I do. Naturally, I'm a writer. I'm a creative thinker. That's what I do. That's what I am. And I have and I have these amazing spiritual gifts, where I can connect with people. I can see, hear, and these things help me out in my life, and I'm here to give people a greater understanding. One thing I never really talk about, is the children, and how, how they need to have just that. They need to have their path open. They need to have the starseed kids, the ones that, especially those that look like me, the ones that may get picked on, or they may be called weird, or they're just super smart at a very young age. They have like this high, they have this high, like Hannibal Barker, or Albert Einstein genius level intellect. That's kind of like it's almost like saying it's like boldly going where no one has gone before. So they'll be, they have the ability to become something greater. And especially if you are a child and somebody, people start to speak into your life. You're just, like I heard a story with Denzel Washington. When he was a kid, he was in the beauty shop with his mom. She was getting her hair done, and this lady, this older lady says, she's like, "Come here, son," and she said, "Hey, one day you're going to do this and you're going to do that. You're going to travel the world. You're going to be in front of people, and XYZ. And now we see Denzel Washington as the person that he is today. So, so behind every star seed child, there are, predictions, premonitions, things that are, things that are seen through through unseen eyes, that people naturally can't, that people just naturally can't understand and contemplate, because they only know what they know, because they've been, because I really do feel like but it's been a long time coming. But things from last year to now, and things are, it's just like things were blown wide open. The world, the world was kind of, flipped upside down spiritually. It was like the old passed away, so the new is here to come. And I'm excited because they're going to be doing things that are gonna really revolutionize and really change the world, like the especially the technology, the how they can create art, how they can just have like this whole symphony in their head, and they can just write like these beautiful soliloquies, this music, without having like any music sheet or without having any training. They're just going to have just a very natural, discerning ear, for, and these are just kids that are just going to have really infinite. These are kids that are going to have infinite possibilities, so to speak. And this is something that is very sacred, and it's unique. And it's almost like, if you're in, I really do feel like some of it is going to be kept very quiet, because some of them are just going to come out of nowhere, and it's almost going to be like, well, if you're in the know, then you're in the know. And if you can look at your kid, and especially if they're excelling in school, and especially in the times that we're living in now, I do feel like the homeschooling is it's almost like a blessing in disguise, because they like to put some of the kids, they say, oh well, they don't catch on like the other kids, and because it's like the information that's given to them, that's just not for them, that's not their history. They don't learn math like, they just learn, they learn a little differently, but they want to slap a title on them, especially like the little black boys, they want to slap a title on them, like they're slow, they're insignificant. But nobody's, I think there was a poem, uh, it was from that Derek Luke movie, and it was like, who will cry for the little boy, something like that. And it's just interesting that like so many of these genius level kids are, and it's a very, very, very sad and pathetic thing that these kids are just getting that these kids are just getting left behind for for whatever reason. And I was fascinated with magic as a kid. I really was. Yeah, I went outside, I played, and and all of that stuff. But I always had things that I could, even though the technology back then wasn't as great as it is now. But I had people in the neighborhood that cared, and we were very creative kids, man. We were never bored. We were always creating games and little things to play, and we were just we were very adventurous as kids. That's one thing I can say. But yeah, that's definitely going to be like a sacred convergence of these kids, like coming together and just doing amazing things, just across colors, cultures, just different boundaries. Things are really going to be broken, through these kids, through their imaginations, as it should be, man, because it's it's time for that. It's time. So they're going to be the ones that are going to be free. The choices, and you do have the choices too, especially if you are very spiritually in tune. If you could be a very strong prayer warrior. You can be someone who really taps into the power of God, the Most High. So right. So you even like in the Bible, you said you see the things Jesus did. Walking on water, going into his spirit form, raising people from the dead. Just all of that good stuff, healing the sick. So it's like the possibilities are the possibility. I saw another video, a gentleman, he was saying that these like these black kids, they're going to be so strong and powerful, they're going to be like flipping cars over. And I mean, you never know. You never know. I mean, with a good adrenaline, I've heard of that before. Mothers lifting up cars because their kids were in trouble and in danger and stuff like that. That adrenaline flows and gives you that extra boost. But man, it's going to be an amazing thing. But I think a lot of this happens at the womb. These mothers, the sacred passage, so to speak. And I'm not trying to be too deep. I'm just saying, like, this is just, these kids are just very chosen. And then I do feel like it's a chosen few. Not everybody's, all kids are special in their own way, but these kids are special, where they can just do like amazing things, also, like these kids can see angels and they can see their ancestors and they can speak to them, they can, boldly speak to situations, make things, like really make things go away. Like I've seen kids, seeing kids that are very protected. Kids are like very, very protective, especially of the really of the parents. So that the yin and yang energy of the from the grandmother, grandfather, mother, father, son, daughter, child, male, female, all of that is very, that love, that nurturing is very, very, very important. They say it does take a village. It really, really, really does. But the third eye and they say the crown chakra, or the third eye, also the pineal gland, very open and massively strong, in these kids. And these kids can send like shockwaves through generations. Everybody's not going to get this message, and I get that. And that's cool. This message is just for, a select few. Might be a few years where, it might be a few weeks or years before it really takes this to catch on to some people. But again, I just keep getting the ascension, and things that are dropped into their hearts. So let these kids create, man. Let them be themselves. Let them, of course, kids do need, they need structure. I get that, but let them be who they are supposed to be in this world. Don't hold them down in a great way, but don't hold them back. Don't hold them back from being who they are. The beings, again, we are human beings. So let them like the old folks will say, leave that child alone. He not bothering anybody. Kids just over there, just some kids can just entertain themselves. They have a group of great friends, man. Let that be what it is. Seriously. These are extraordinary, revolutionary times, and kids, they're going to really see a lot of amazing things in their dreams. So if they come running into your rooms and, just ask them what it is, just tell them, it's okay. And, just try to write that down. That may definitely be something that's going to come to pass, or, be something that's going to be influential, in their lives, or maybe somebody else's lives in a family, or somebody they may interact with. But yeah, man, it's just a lot of amazing, possibilities that are going to the becoming, the ascension, just to being able to have a clear mind, and having that ancient wisdom, just to be able to go into a natural dream state. It's like they're half here, half somewhere else. It's a very interesting thing. It's a very deep topic to talk about. But it is the shifting of the tide, so to speak. It is very much so a shifting of the tide. How these kids, right? So it's a very and some of these kids may be very emotional and sensitive, so you just be catering and nurturing to them, and just try to introduce them to different things, different art forms. If you have the means, please travel with these kids, take them to the park, take them out into nature. That's important. A lot of these kids are stuck in front of TV with the video game, and that's cool. But that gets their adrenaline pumping, and that sparks their curiosity. It's not the game itself; it's the art form that's in the game. That it is the art form that's in the game. But it is good for these kids to go out because they're very attuned. It's two things: the sun and the moon. They're very attuned to the sun and the moon. It is the dawning. It is the dawning of a new day, and it is the setting of the old. Let me say it again. Attuned to the sun and the moon. So it is the dawning of the new day with the sun, the rising of the soul child. The rising of the soul, the psyche, the mental, the strong indigenous indigo properties inside the child. The melanin, the code is always within the code is always within the melanin. So just under just as they say now, overstand that. I don't even know if that's a word in the dictionary, but y'all know what I'm trying to say. But if you have a kid or a grandkid or a niece or a nephew, and you're just kind of, and you're very spiritual, and you look at them and they're looking at you, and you see each other, help them. Please help them, because sometimes kids' voices are very silent in the beginning, and people are just like, I don't know, something about this kid. He's been here before, and there's just something different about him. Is just can't quite put my finger on it. But don't put the kid in don't put the kid in the shell. Don't put them in a box. Again, let them go free, because they're very, it's like the box. The box says handle with care. And this side up. He's gonna handle with care, so don't go flipping them around, and you're trying to get, and all of that stuff. Because it is an honor to be a parent, it's a high honor to have one of these kids, in your life or in your classroom, or so, take the time to work with them. And if you're a kid and you're watching this, man, and if you watch this whole thing through, your attention span is amazing, seriously, because, the generations that are now, the 20, 30 somethings, they don't have that kind of, they don't have that type of attention span. If it's not 30 seconds and I catch their attention, they, off to something else. So, but the attention span of these kids and the thirst and the quest for knowledge is going to be insane. But in a great and but in a great and amazing way. But yeah, so that was just my take on the Black Indigo children, or the Black Indigo child, or the Starseed child. So yeah, man, and they do have this, and this has actually been scientifically proven, where they have this, we're made up of like this cosmic, like kind of the stuff that the stars are made of, like that kind of star seed, energy. But there's this more prevalent, the light always shines from within. So just remember that. But all right, folks, but cool. If you guys have any questions, just leave me a comment down below. If you want to see things like this continue to go on, hey, hit the Cash App, hit the Cash App, hit the PayPal. Find me on Instagram. Don't forget to like and subscribe. But as always, folks, Mr. Soul Lover Man 504, aka the Man That Was Another. Always, my peace. Peace.